morning. Good morning. I hope this finds you well. Now, just in case you wonder why I rabbit on a bit about the start of this video, it's because of our internet. It takes a wee while to actually record sometimes, or to pass it through to LinkedIn in particular. So I ramble on about what's going on here for a few seconds while I wait for everything to kind of stabilize. And it's a bit of a guess, to be honest. Right, so today it is cloudy. The heather is still in full bloom and it looks like it's going to be a nice day. Yeah, at least it's a bit cooler so we can all sleep a bit better at night, which is good. However, I believe there's due to be good weather at the start of next week, which is excellent. Right, okay, on with the work. What have we got for you today? Well, we have a couple of PFAS things. Now, the first thing is there's a UK consultation on PFAS in firefighting foam. Yeah, try saying that in a hurry. And it's a really, really long consultation. I think that is because the HSE are basically recognizing that it's a really important use. And if there's a way to still use the foam but retain it so it's not going out into the environment, then maybe we should keep it. So that particular consultation is open until the 18th of February 2026. So you see what I mean? It's a long one, isn't it? So I'm just putting the link below this video now. And heard from a colleague, Martin Shenton, up at Blue Frog Scientific, and he said, I don't know if ECHA are trying to sort of steal the HSE's thunder, but actually there's a consultation in the EU on the PFAS restriction. So there's a link on the ECHA website I'm going to pop in as well for you. So yeah, it was interesting timing from the EU, I have to say. So that's the ECHA link, and on that there is a link to the actual consultation itself if you want to get involved in that too. It's quite worrying the number of people who are sort of sticking their heads above the parapet on social media, including LinkedIn, and trying to say that we should ban PFAS completely without taking into account all of the extremely useful things like firefighting foam, or where there really is very little that's going to replace it for things like alcohols. Alcohol fires are particularly difficult because quite often there's clear flame, so you can't see it. If you stick your hand in the flame, then it'll burn, sort of thing. And if you add water to it, then all that happens is you get a bigger burning pool, because you need to add, 5 times the volume of water, at least, maybe more, to get to the point where the alcohol is dilute enough that it will actually no longer sustain the flame. So yeah, it's worrying that people who are a bit, maybe we could call them keyboard warriors, armchair scientists perhaps, they think, oh yeah, let's just ban everything and do a cliff edge. No, it doesn't work like that in the real world, and you're potentially putting people's lives at risk. And of course, that's without thinking of all the fluorinated items that are really, really vitally important. It's used in medicine, for example. If you think about people with hip replacements, where it can be a wearing surface on a new hip joint, very important for that kind of thing. And all of the various tubes and gaskets and all sorts of things that we use PTFE for example. So I'll get off my soapbox. Good morning if you're watching live, by the way, or hello if you're watching on catch up. We really appreciate it either way. So that's the fast stuff. The second thing is shout out to Tatiana Monero of Lissam in Brazil. Now, Tatiana warned us that we had, hello, Phil Rowley. Thank you so much for all your work you do in supporting the newsletter. We really appreciate it. So Tatiana warned us that GHS Revision 11 was out. Now, this was in mid-July, and she has just discovered that the paid-for version is available. Now, this is always the first version that comes out. The paid-for version comes out, and then in 4 to 6 weeks, you should get the free version. Now, the difference is the free version is locked and you can't copy text out of it. But it was very, very naughty of the UN to say that revision 11 had been published and then take 5 weeks to make it available. You can imagine that if you were commercially, it's one thing sort of teasing something, but to say it had actually been published and then not provide it. Yeah. So thank you very much for that, Tatiana, as well. And it's interesting talking about both Tatiana and Phil, is that the newsletter is run by people sending things in. A lot of the time, it's not just what I'm spotting when I'm mooching around things. And we really, really, really appreciate everybody who sends information through. It makes doing the newsletter so much easier, and it's great that we can all learn together, because regulations are so big, it's more than any one brain can comprehend, even a single regulation like REACH or CLP. If anybody claims they know everything about REACH or everything about CLP, then my advice is, as ever, back out of the room, because you never turn your back on a crazy person. So that's nearly it for me for today. I'm going to put the sign up link for the weekly version of the newsletter in case you're interested. Because obviously I can only put a certain amount of small snippets in this video. And our last thing is reasons to be cheerful. Now, this month I am having difficulty because we're putting lots of things in. Usually I have a little bit of a theme. So I thought, well, let's put in the original reasons to be cheerful. Ian Dury and the Blockheads. And this is why our funny videos or our music or whatever is called Reasons to be Cheerful. So I'm just popping that in there just now, and I hope you like it as much as an oldie like me does. So thanks again for watching. Thank you to absolutely everybody for your support for TT Environmental and for the Chemicals Coffee Time newsletter. TT Environmental turned 24 this week, and I am extremely grateful to everybody who has been involved in the business over the years, and thank you so much for your support. It really is very humbling, and I hope that I can continue to support the chemical and chemical using industries for many years to come. Take care of yourselves. Bye.